Eater salad. How are we doing on food supply? Should have plenty. Some of the stuff's starting to rot on us. Hey, we got some. We got probably like a day or two's worth more. Oh, yeah, there's the word search people talked about. Like, I had been told that there was word searches and all that now, and I was like, I haven't seen one yet, but we haven't been going in many houses or anything. Top off our water. Cool. So now, I'm gonna first kill a giant horde. Still at ice. See? Love the dedication. Yep, brown guy. Just gonna keep on working on it. As I mentioned, I am doing my push towards partner, so just really trying to, as long as you have the numbers up on the stream, stay streaming as long as possible. Get that average viewer count up. That way I can apply for partner. Okay, so we still got to horde up the road. Yeah, no, I'm fairly confident as long as I keep things going, I'll get there. Because like genuinely, if I wasn't even doing this, if I was just continuing to do what I had already been doing, like every month my average viewership has been, you know, ticking up a little bit by a little bit. Just trying to get over that last little bit. Which still blows my mind that we're here. Because I remember it's only been like, let's say a couple, it's been a decent number, but it's only been months since I was like, alright, I just got to get my 5 average viewers. You know, got to make affiliate. We're almost there. I got 3.5. Got to get my 5 average viewers. And now here I am, just like, oh yeah, we're pushing for 75. We're gonna make it. Just getting close. Cool. Another horde done. Yeah, my plan is to go up this road. Thank you to follow, Seraphim. Welcome to the stream. Yes, my plan is to go to the north up this road. There's a road that goes east past the school. I'll follow that and then I'll turn down. Oh yeah, honestly, weeknights, NA time actually do pretty solid for me. Like, I find most weeks, Sunday night is, seems to be one of the ones that's pretty lax there. And I mentioned before on the channel that I very deliberately choose this schedule where it's like 5 p.m. till normally I would go to 4 a.m. I might go long because we've got a bunch of people here. So I'm trying to push for it. But, very deliberately choose that time frame because 5 p.m. EST means pretty much everyone in the US who's working like the normal 9 to 5 will be wrapping up with their day, just starting getting home. You know, you'll have people who work like creative work / thought work who are basically super fuzzed after a hard day of work and they just want to kind of clear their heads or, you know, whatever anxiety or stresses they deal with, you know, they want a clear head. So we get that group. You know, we get all our late owls, you know, night owls and all that here in the US. It's a time frame that I personally find to be a bit underserved so far as the number of streamers available playing different stuff. Versus like peak time of, you know, 5 p.m. till like 10 p.m. You get pretty solid number of people streaming EST. And then things kind of really start to die off after that point, little by little, as the night goes on. Until quite a bit after 4 a.m. my time, then you start seeing a bunch of the people over in Europe will start popping onto their streams. But then a lot of people like don't day stream. Like there's not that many of them by comparison to everyone else. So even those who do hop on earlier, it takes a little while. Tenza said, was wondering, how can you stream close to 12 hours a day and have a job like a software dev? So I actually am on sabbatical now. I've been doing, you know, been working hard for over 20 years. I was like, you know what, I want a little bit of a break. But yeah, so actually I'm not doing like any real dev around streaming at the moment. But prior to that sabbatical, you know, I was trying to split my time, which is pretty rough. Brown Guy says, I'm EST as well. Excellent. A rhetorical question says, hey, I left earlier. Make a 3-hour drive. I felt I should let you know. I had to drive through Ennis. Excellent. I have no idea where Ennis is, but excellent. I do get the city named after the character kind of thing. Alright, let's get to one side of this real fast. I Want to Live starts PZ 11.7. I don't know what that is. Texas. Gotcha. Okay. Did I mention the machete is really awesome once you've got the stats to put together? Like, it's always awesome, but yeah. I was saying there's one in Montana. It's probably like cities like Dixie or, you know, Jacksonville and those kind of things where you find them in, you know, or Springfield, those kind of ones, where you find them all over the place. You said you went on sabbatical to live. Now the project's Zomboid 11 hours today, 7 days a week. Oh, did I say to live? I mean, if I did. No, I'm at 8 maintenance, but I'm getting real close to 9. Yeah. It was mostly just burned out doing the work, and then also the company I was working for is making decisions that I disagree with, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to take my services elsewhere. Like, I still have recruiters reaching out to me constantly, and it's not that I'm not listening to them at all, but I'm not exactly searching right now. You know, obviously the right opportunity and all that, yada yada yada. But at this point, like, I'm not at a point that I could make a living on this. We're not there yet. But like the other night with Ziggy's raid we had, like that was the first time I was like, maybe I could become full-time stream. I mean, I am acting as full-time stream right now, but maybe like actually full-time stream. We shall see. Just got to keep at it. Let the channel keep on growing. See how it goes. Thank you for the follow, Rogue Pepe. Welcome to stream. How is our maintenance skill going? I haven't checked the skills in a little while. So we look like we're about, maybe just a little under, no, actually about halfway of getting to Nimble 6, which would be exciting. Short Blade is like right about to be level 9. Maintenance is pretty close to 9. All the others are getting kind of close to 8. And then fishing and all that we don't care about. Do you have your weapon durability changed? No, everything's default. Basically, this run, we were running Apocalypse, except where we have boosted the population up to its max, turned off respawns, and set the helicopter to sometimes, which is about 2 to 3 times a month. Otherwise, well, and I have the map pre-populated, and I do that mostly because people will ask questions. They'll be like, where can I find military gear? And I'll go, okay, well, you can find military gear over there, and over there. Like, oh, where's the city of Ekron? It's like, okay, well, Ekron is over there. So I like to pre-populate for that. I've only done, like, this is actually the first run I have pre-populated the map. Normally I don't, but at this point, like, I just know the map. Like, there's parts of Louisville I don't know. Like, I don't know what the individual businesses are, like, what to find in them. But, you know, I know where Louisville is. Oh wow, going through tools so fast then. Now, once you get your durability up, so like the beginning of this run, I'm just deleting weapons from existence because we'll grab it, we'll kill like 5 or 6 zombies, and then I'll break it. And you rinse and repeat that until you start getting some decent combat skills, including maintenance. We're at that point that, you know, you see what's happening here. I've been using this machete for the entire day. And its durability is getting low, but it's not quite to breaking. But yeah, that maintenance skill is everything. You get that thing to like 8, 9, or 10 though, other than like spears and stuff that break super fast, you can keep going for a long time. Like at this point, I'll use a crowbar for a good like week before we break it. Like my character will be super exhausted before I break a crowbar. Oh, I thought you'd die. Can you eventually counter claustrophobia or agoraphobia? No. Those are permanent negatives. If you have them, you have them. That is what it is. Like, most negatives are non-curable. In the sense that if you have it, you live with it. And that said, most negatives you can mitigate pretty easily with some exceptions like deaf and illiterate. There's nothing you can do to negate them. They're just an awful time. But there are some like being, you know, underweight, overweight, unfit, weak, those kind of things. Those you can fix. My caution is it takes a very, very long time to fix them. Like our character's been alive for 1 whole year and 1 month. And while we're no longer weak, unfit, and obese, we still wouldn't, like, we're not super up there. We've got decent stats, but we've got a ways to go. And the longer we're going, the longer and longer it'll take for us to gain more stats. Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll go around this block, and then I'm going to cut through the school parking lot. I'm actually surprised I'm not seeing more zombies here at the school. But I mean, it is right here, next to where we were going, that we've dealt with like 5 or 6 helicopters, so it's a good chance we just drew all the zombies from here over to where we were fighting before. And we've just reached that point where we're not getting a whole lot here. But yeah, give me an idea of just how much of a difference it makes when stuff is rotten for value. I put 2 rotten fish in there. And I'm gonna get 1 hunger out of it. Alpha's asking, do you get desensitized if your character lives long enough? I think you... So you do get desensitized. It's somewhere around, I believe, day 180 is when you've reached max being desensitized. You still will get fear. Like, if you still face, like, 200 zombies, you will still go into extreme panic. It'll take a couple seconds to get there. You know, so it'll take, like, a little longer than your typical character will. But the thing that's amazing is you turn around, you walk away, 2 steps away, and then suddenly you compare. Do you get sensitized with, claustrophobia? No. Like, I mean, if you go to, like, real people in the real world, and they have agoraphobia, it's not like they just get over it. That's not how phobias work. You have it, you deal with it, and you either learn ways of managing it and mitigating it, which usually takes stuff like therapy, or there can be medical processes and all that. But you still have it. You don't... No, you're not wrong, Elgaso. Real life doesn't have that as well. But imagine, like, it would... if you could just make the negative traits go away easily, then they are fairly meaningless. Like, the whole point is you're making a character that, you know, they've got pros and cons to them. They've got things that are good at and there are things that are bad at. Now, I will say the unfit, weak, and obese thing are the exception. And, you know, you have, like, underweight and all those. But, yeah. The idea, though, is it takes a super long time to fix those traits. I mean, a character surviving over a year is a very noteworthy thing. And then surviving over a year... Like, if I was on a normal population doing the same type of run I'm doing, I bet you I'd probably be at, like, fitness 4, strength 5, maybe, at this point. Because I wouldn't be killing nearly as many zombies, which is where most of my fitness and all that's coming from. Yeah. Alpha saying, yeah, I'm saying that it would eventually take your character a bit longer to feel the effects. Yeah, no, I could see from, like, a game perspective adding that, but that's... If we're talking, like, a real-world perspective, that's not how it works. Now, I'm sure there's mods and all that that get into that, but... You know. Give me a moment. So the Rogue Pepe goes, how do you feel about guns in the game? Heard shotguns are the only worthy guns. Honestly, I actually feel guns in this game are good. Like, genuinely just good. There are a few guns that are crap. Like, I'm not a big fan of the Magnum. I'm not a big fan of the 45 revolver, that kind of thing. Or, there's like a 44 and a 45. I'm not a fan of the big, you know, the big revolvers. Like, I like the 38 special revolver. It's solid. There are a couple of guns that are really good. There are a few that are kind of crap. But I think the problem a lot of people do is they go and they grab and they're like, I've got this assault rifle, I've got 0 aim, and then they go and they try and fire it and they suck at it. And that's because their character sucks at it. Like, their character has no aim skill. Oh, so we gotta hydrate, give me a moment. We kill these zombies. So generally speaking, what ends up happening, and I've mentioned this before, is I recommend if you're going to use guns in the game, use the shotgun only until you're at least at aim 2. But once you get to, like, aim 2, you can start bringing in, like, the 9mm is a very, very good gun. The 38 special revolver is an excellent gun. And then when you hit aim 4, then you can use whatever gun you want. There are some guns that I personally feel are kind of crap. Like I said, the really powerful revolvers and that. I mean, the 9mm already one-tap stuff, and it has a larger magazine and a faster fire rate. So, you know, you get the idea. What's the Magnum bringing to the table you don't already have? That kind of thing. Alpha says, I think that's how it works now, actually. But I could be very well wrong. It feels like traits are too crippling, so I've only played with them once or twice. Actually, so there is a rework they're going to be doing on the traits. And honestly, the current thought is that too many of the traits are too easy to deal with. There are exceptions, like deaf and illiterate are absolutely brutal traits. Like agoraphobic by itself is not that bad to deal with. If you put agoraphobic and claustrophobic together, then yeah, your character's just... They're scared of the universe. Everything is awful for them. But that's the choice you made kind of thing. But they actually are going to make a number of the traits more difficult. Because a lot of the traits people call free points right now. And they'll disagree which traits are the free points. But there's a whole bunch of traits people consider free points. Because, like, if you have the thirst trait, but you have water, like, readily available, it's pretty irrelevant. Yeah, and as Tenzel's saying, like, smoker, a lot of people consider free points. Oh, gotcha. It makes sense that you shouldn't be able to use those two traits together. There were a bunch of people, and I wouldn't call it a cheese trap because putting them together, like, panic sucks because it hurts your damage so much. But I did see a number of people were putting claustrophobic and agoraphobic together so that your character is basically permanently panicking. And then the idea behind is what they would do is they would take, there's a trait that while you're panicked, your character runs faster. And the idea is to get like the permanent run speed. And I kind of was like staring at this like, but why? But why? You're panicked forever. Like, panic sucks. Like, panic straight up sucks. It's a pretty significant damage penalty. I mean, unless you're going to carry around all the beta blockers ever. Yeah, in rough times, you know, Automod does block that one term, which is just, the trait is called Adrenaline Junkie, so all, you know, rough times is just saying that the trait is Adrenaline Junkie. I am going to, like, not approve it, even though it is a thing in the game, because I have had people say stuff along the lines of, like, real-life people kind of insulting things using that word, so I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to leave it auto-modded. But yeah, so the trait is Adrenaline Junkie. Like, no problems there, rough times. Like, I do allow auto-mod to be a bit overzealous, because there's a lot of words that, like, in context are totally fine, but I still want it to, like, snag when the thing is used to make sure it's used in a context that's totally fine. You get the idea. Yep, it's like, and honestly, like, on the big wide world of things, it's a pretty benign one. But, you know, not that we're always positive. Try to keep it that way, is what I kind of go for. And again, no one said anything wrong, we're all good. Let's see. Elgo says, a few patches ago, they toned down a ton of cigarette spawns and made it so smoker was harder to deal with. So it just cripples you like the second or third day until you get to a gas station. Yeah. Elgo says, surprised you can't add contextual exception to Automod. No, I think Automod just, it probably has like a weighting system to it for the stuff they add, but it's just looking for words and phrases. And so it's really not sophisticated in what it's doing. It's literally just saying, did you say this word? Okay, stop it. Did you say this phrase? Okay, stop it. But it does seem that there are some words that aren't like straight up no-go. Like it's like you use this word and maybe you get like half a point, and if you say another word that's worth half a point, it's like, whoa, okay, you use two words that are not good in the same sentence. Whoa, hold up. But I don't, like when I add stuff to Automod, which I do from time to time, I don't get that kind of granular control. And to be clear, those ones I've added, it's stuff like, I usually use the Automod to deal with the bots that hop in there like, come out, check out our website, big follows, and buy your followers, and whatever crap it is. Like, I'll take their web address like big follows, and I will put that into Automod, because in a normal sentence, a person doesn't typically go big follows as one word. Like, that's not a normal one you deal with. And so I'll add that. Yeah, no, most of the time these things do work on a weighting system where they'll say, okay, with this word alone we have a 0.25 rating, like 0.25 level, that this might be bullying. And then they have a threshold that says, okay, when you get enough words in here that you get beyond the threshold of 1.5, then we slap you with an automod. Because I have definitely seen words that the person will say the word and it'll be fine, and then someone will use that same word, but they'll use another word, and it will actually flag both those words as being what it's modded by. So I don't know the exact specifics. And that said, as a reminder, it's in the channel rules, do not test automod. Every time people test automod, it means they're saying things that they believe are borderline offensive, which usually just means they're saying offensive things. So, you know, don't do it. If you want to test automod, you are welcome to open your own Twitch channel. You don't need anyone there. Turn on automod and go nuts. Oh, I found another one, didn't I? Because like I said, I've had a few times. I've had a few times where like people are like, oh, we want to test it. And, like the first time is like, okay, they're using words that in the context are totally fine, but in different contexts could totally be not fine. And deliberately using them in the safe context. Then I had times where people were just like flat out jumping right across that fence like, hang on, you may not find that offensive, but I can absolutely see where what you just said was offensive. And to the credit, Automod did not catch some of them. But it's very much like, yeah, don't do that here. Rhetorical question says, don't say offensive things. If you have to, don't complain about the consequences. Mm-hmm. Well, I do tend to give people the benefit of the doubt. I do absolutely, like, or I shouldn't say do. I haven't had to. I would absolutely jump and be like, yep, howdy, if someone's causing trouble. Because honestly, having that kind of person around your chat, you know, oh, you keep this one person who's super offensive around at the cost of a bunch of other people. And I just as soon show the offensive person the door. And I have done that in my career. I 100% had a person who was just like absolutely not okay to another one of my coworkers. Like, all right, well, I'm done working with you. It's like, well, I won't be able to finish my job. It's like, well, that sounds like a you problem, doesn't it? You know, I won't, like, I've dealt with at my, you know, not my current, or not my most recent employer, and deal with it, but I've dealt with employers of the past where, you know, we had, like, misogynistic stuff happen at the office. Like, alright, that's fine, like, I won't work with this problem. Yeah, Tenzo goes, sounds like a you problem is one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. Like, I depend on your support for this. It's like, well, I don't work with people who do that. That's fine. I got my job done. Maybe you should have thought about your actions first. The reality is they didn't realize there was going to be consequences for what they said. They thought they could say awful things about their peers, and that everyone would just roll over and ignore it. I'm just not one of those people. I don't put up with people making hostile work environments. That's not acceptable. But I'm also the kind of person that when when people approach me like, hey, we'd like you to speak at our conference, yada yada yada, here's like what we're willing to pay, blah blah blah. I'm the kind of person who's like, okay, what's your code of conduct? How do you enforce it? When was the last time you enforced your code of conduct? What was the outcome of that enforcement? Because you have a whole bunch of them that they'll put a code of conduct on paper and it goes, when have you enforced it? And they kind of stare at you like, oh, well, we've never enforced it. Like, well, it's meaningless. Bar says, what they say to your face about others and what they say about you behind your back. Oh, we got ourselves a hydrate. Thank you. I actually need that. Is there an end game? Says Serial Tux. Well, no and yes. There isn't an end game in a formal, like, you can cure the zombie plague, or there's something specific you do. But there is an end game as in the point where you've kind of hit the end. Oh, yeah, so the ending of the game... No, I'm sorry, I misread that. I thought you said, is there an end game? You said, is there an end to this game? Yes. When you see the game over screen, that is the end game. There is no win condition, but there is a lose condition. That's pretty common with a number of survival games, honestly. But yeah. So, like, the quote-unquote winning is when you go into a run, you say, I have these things I want to accomplish. You know, maybe it's to survive a year. Maybe it's to clear them all. You know, whatever your goal is. So your win condition is accomplishing whatever you wanted to do. Does the game stop there? No. Do you set at the beginning? Nope. That is just you for yourself. Throw a bar. Tenzin says, sounds like life. I mean, you're not wrong. You hope to accomplish what you hope to accomplish, and you do it or you don't. Yeah, so that's the win condition. It's a soft win condition. That you set out an objective, you do it. Our objective here is probably one of the most extreme objectives, which is to kill all of the zombies at the highest population settings there is. But you know, some people it's to survive a week because they're early on. Good objective. Knock it out. Some people it's survive a month because they've gotten a little bit farther. Some people it's survive a year. Other people it's to, you know, kill 100,000 zombies. Some of it's like, you know, build a big fancy base. Play some cursed Sims, as some people will call it. Some people, let's say, I want to burn down every city in the game. Cool, do it. But yeah, there is no win condition. Like there is no escaping the exclusion zone, defeating the zombie apocalypse. When the game says, like the intro to the game is, you know, these were the end days. There was no hope of survival. This is how you died. That's the story. Ultimately, this is the story of how you died. Valkyrian says, try 8x pop with super ramped up respawns and see how long you survive after the challenge. You know, we could do something like that. The end goal is to die, obviously. What was the name of the game? There was a game that the entire premise of it was to to kill your character as fast as possible. And so the game would actively try to prevent you from dying. And it was one of those games that it has no longevity, but it's just a gag game. It was pretty funny. I'm just gonna slam at a zombie and push through him. I don't want to deal with all those trees. Trees are the enemy. They're the real end game. Serial Tech says, if the end of the game is to die, I am a master at this game then. Excellent. Anyone who is brand new to this game knows how to die like the best of them. I actually did not I really did not want to run to that tree running. And the reason for that is you can actually scratch yourself on trees and damage your clothes in that. We got lucky, nothing happened. It's just you can only turn so fast while running. I'm just really not a fan of all these trees. Yeah, but at the rate that we're going to... I'm not going to have Rosewood declared clear this stream, but the rate we're going, most likely, we will have Rosewood clear except the police department, or not police department, the prison, unless I go really long. The prison, this stream, which means next stream we would be just wiping out the prison. Which the prison's a bit scary, because it's got lots of corners, and corners are dangerous. Thank you for the follow. Let's see. Tempersona, welcome to the stream. Yep, except I don't do burns. Now, if I didn't care about, not doing burns, yeah, I probably wouldn't, I probably would just be the prison, oof. Because, the prison has a little food that's almost all going to be going. But, can't you make the corners into corridors with the sledge? I mean, yes, if I had a sledge. Hey, how's it going over there in Spain? I'm over here in Florida, in the US. You're probably going, hang on a second. Isn't it like really freaking late there? You are correct. It is 4 a.m. and some change. Can't get partner without that hustle. Torga says, that's a lot of work, and I feel like doing the burn isn't that bit different than committing arson. Yep. So, I mean, we got a zombie here. Got a, looks like a horde there. So we're not going to be able to do the prison tonight in-game because we're pretty close to hitting... I didn't see that we started the execution animation. I'm like, why did I stop moving? That made me jump a little bit. Just the angle, I couldn't see that my execution, like the knife hand, I didn't see it swing up, and I was like, wait a second. Like, I should be moving, or something should be happening here. I hit the button. Because I thought these were already considered as aggroed on me, which means I wouldn't be able to do the execute. Why is it that we hit Drowsy and then just immediately the zombies are like, get him. He's vulnerable. Now's the time. He's wiped our entire city. We are the last stand. It's just us and the prisoners. So unfortunately, because we are drowsy, instead of taking 2 to 3 hits to kill zombies, we're going to have a lot of them that are going to be 4 hits. Why do I care about... I don't care about keeping this road clear. We're literally not going to drive in this road ever again. Well, I mean, that's not true. We're not going to drive in this road for a very long time. So one thing we need to come up with is we're going to have to come up with a good name for Dr. Ellen Ennis. Like we had Quincy Boo the Friendship Killer, because of the whole friendship bracelet thing. We have to come up with something with Ellen Ennis. I mean, other than the fact that her name has fantastic alliteration, which is why she's immortal. Like, we've learned anything from DC and Marvel, it's if your name has alliteration, you cannot be killed. Or if you are killed, it doesn't actually happen because that's just the way, you know, superhero stuff goes. Like, you're dead and then you're, like, brought back to life because magic or witch or science, or you only pretend to die, like, 20 magazines ago or whatever. Let's see. Rhetorical answer says, a burn is like, let's go kill a ton of zombies with fire. Burning the prison is more like, screw this nonsense. Our rhetorical question says, they can smell the tired, it's seasoning, like salt and pepper. I mean, that's probably fair. They probably can smell the tired. They're like, she's getting a little sleepy. Rhetorical answer, the brain surgeon. She has one. Dr. Ellen Ennis. So does that mean the next time I actually loot a pharmacy, we're going to have, you know, 6 doctors? Is that our goal, is to see how many doctors we can put on? And we're going to, like, just eventually abbreviate. It's not going to be just, like, doctor. We're going to do, like, yeah, I was going to say, like, D4. Oh, right. D4 Ellen Ennis, MD. What we need to find is like a plaque and a desk that, you know, declares her a director or something. So it's D4 Director Ellen Ennis, MD. Just see how many titles we can fit on her name. D4EEMD. Is that a new Valve game? No, it has the number 4. You're not allowed to go over 2. Like, it's just policy. And if you do go over 2, you have to, like, make an entirely different naming convention. That way you don't actually go over 2. Dr. Ellen... Whistlebeak suggesting Dr. Ellen Ennis and the Bed of Blades. Sounds like a fantasy novel. Oh, Left 4 Dead has a 4. They just can't use 3. Yeah, as a prank, that's just someone removed all the 3s from all their keyboards. Alright, so. How are we doing with our food situation? Rotten. Let's head back. The main base. Because I'm not worried, like, these ones aren't even in Rosewood proper. They're in the street south of Rosewood. When they show up, we'll kill them, it's fine. Like, we'll probably have some zombies as we roll through here a couple times. They'll show back up. Yeah, we'll have a bunch of show back and kill later. Like, we'll do a lap before we... Zombies? Don't make a liar out of me. Alright, so I'll have to do some more cleanup, because that's a horde inside town. Yeah, so I'm going to have to do more cleanup. I didn't think there was going to be that many zombies wandering around still, but that's fine. I still think the prison's going to be the next target. Let the zombies wander back into town. And then we'll roll through and, you know, kill whatever shows up. Yeah, we still have a decent number of zombies still around here. There's probably zombies that are, like, fully in houses that took this kind of time to, like, bust out and all that. And the reason we're backing out at this point is we basically don't have enough food to really get through another day without running out. We're just going to go ahead and back out and get more food. Come back out here. Oh, I haven't been running this for the whole time. I need to remember to keep that on. We also probably should top off the gas tank. We're at half a gas tank. Now let's see. The ASCII code for 3 is 51, so you don't need a 3 on your keyboard. There, but that assumes people know that. Actually, we're willing to do it. Burnson, maybe they have those cheap keyboards without the numpad. You can actually get some, like, really expensive mechanical keyboards that don't have the numpad. I'm like, but why? But why? It's like the same price as a keyboard that has the numpad. Like, I mean, I guess if your desk is like very much locked into this is the desk you're going to use and you just don't have room for it. Yeah. But I bet they have RGB. I mean, some I'm sure. I actually get super tired of RGB being in everything. It's like, it's cool if you're into it. But it's like, I wanna not have the RGB. Like, can I have the not RGB version? Like, I will pay extra to not have the RGB, please. I don't need my keyboard to be a disco. It's okay. Like, these headsets, they have RGB in them, and like, because I just was getting the ones that are cost effective, I'm like, alright, well, I'm just going to disable those lights real fast. Which is funny, because when I was a teenager, like, before you got computers with the plexiglass windows and all the modding, like, before that was just a normal thing people did, like, I actually took the time to take computer cases, Dremel out the side, you know, clean it all up so it looks nice. You'd use like a rubber lining around it. You'd put like a plexiglass window that you'd cut to yourself, you know, cut yourself to the size. Like, I did all that. Like, and I even took, you know, from the 5-volt on the Molex connectors from the 5 volts off them, I would, you know, wire in like automotive strobe and neon lights. Like, I did all that crap. And now as like an adult, I'm just like, you know what I want? I want less of that. That stuff I put all that work into, I just want less of it. If I could just have like my case, it's a black rectangle. It's got some vents, but it's a black rectangle. The only light on it is the power light. Yeah, it's a box. It sits on its floor. Its purpose doesn't look like it's a household piece of hardware. That's kind of my approach to it. But I mean, the days I was showing off everything, like, it was almost not a business thing I did, but it's kind of one of those things that I was going to LAN parties and hosting LAN parties, and I had a computer repair business and a network consulting business. So having this computer that looked completely tricked out and everything, like, it was a marketing point. Like, I used to care about my benchmarks to make sure they're like these ludicrous things. Like, I would... Okay, so we're having another tropical storm in 5 days. That's our third tropical storm this playthrough. The second one in about a month. So, you know. Rough year. Algo says, I actually want a computer case with modern amenities that looks like it's a 90s beige box. Oh, don't get me wrong, like, computer cases themselves have gotten amazing over the year. Like, I remember having to, like, go through such a big hassle to switch out, like, a CD-ROM drive. Like, you had to tear apart half your case just to get to this stupid thing. And nowadays, it's just like, oh yeah, you got these little clips, click, click, and it comes out. I don't even have, an optical drive anymore, because who does? I mean, I'm sure a bunch of people do, but I don't play CDs anymore. Games don't come on CDs anymore. Like, the only time you need CDs is, like, pull up ancient backups, but those CDs, those old burnable CDs, go bad after about 7 years, so that's not even good. Wiswick said, I used to type a lot on the dark back when I had a Parrot because RGB was useful. I don't seem to sound like a jerk, but I can type without looking at my fingers. Yeah, that's what Ogo said. Same, but I'm looking for special characters and my hands are slightly off. It helps. Yeah, like, I've shown my keyboard that the whole keyboard, there's like no lettering on any of the keys, and like all the keys are blank, and the only key that's different is escape. If I were to make a new custom keyboard now, which will probably be something I have to do at some point when the keycaps, or not when the keycaps, when the switches wear out, I would probably go in and make the home row a different color than the rest of the keys. Just so it's like you can look down and be like, oh right, I've shifted over one. Let's see, you can still get stuff with the USB panels and such in the old fit, 5 1/4 drives. Yeah, and I've seen those, and I've seen, like, I've still seen, like, the The drive slot for the 3.5 floppy, so the little hard floppy. Like, I've still seen you can buy like USB ports that go in that spot, and you kind of look at people like, do cases still come with that? Like, what computer case still comes with a place for a 3.5 drive? Like, I'm sure they're out there, and I'm like, I know you could buy them specially that go in the 5.5 or 5.25, whatever the size is for the big bay. But I got rid of most of my old computer hardware because I had like it was one of the very original optical mice from like way back in the day where you had to have a very specific special mouse pad because it was reading the grid off the mouse pad, and it didn't just have two lights. It had like these two giant, like one is an LED and one is a sensor, but those things were like about the fourth of the size of like a dime or a nickel. So it was like these two giant lights on the bottom, and even then it ran like crap. And we're talking, it was like the rectangular box, like you used to see the old like the old Macintosh mice, the one that's just like the rectile, or the old IBM mice, where it's this big rectangle. What's your deal? Oh, probably should have actually pulled those up. That's fine. I actually don't care. Goodbye, cabbages. Oh right, we got an katana to grab out of the car, don't we? I want an RGB keyboard, not because I want a disco keyboard. Yep. I mean, that's the thing. If people want RGB keyboards, cool. Absolutely have at it. They should have the option to do so. 100% agreed. Like they should be available in the market. It's the fact like nowadays, if you're looking for like nice mechanical keyboards, like can I get the one that you have without the RGB? And they kind of look at you like, why would you want that? Why would you buy a keyboard without RGB? It's like, because I'm not going to use it. Don't judge me. No need to get snippy. I'm trying to buy a keyboard here. I mean, awesome rhetorical. Burnson said, Ren recently got a new keyboard, and they literally couldn't find one without... We literally... Oh, yeah. For me, it was, And when I say I got a keyboard, like, what did I say recently? This thing's been almost 10 years. But, like, it was a mechanical... how do you move the mini... Do you know how to move the minimap? No, I'm not aware of being able to move the minimap. Is that actually a thing? Because it did move up because, from my understanding with the console player's UI, the minimap where it was problematic. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 27 katanas. Yeah, that's my big problem with the RGB is it's too bright. Like, I don't mind that it's colorful, I don't mind any of that stuff, like that's fine. But like when everything around me is flashing and blinking, it's both distracting and, it can be frustrating.